Oh, hello YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, I am doing my end of November wrap up. So I wasn't gonna film today, I'll be honest with you guys. It was like a combination of things between like my steadily declining mental health and multiple other factors. And one of them being I was just tired. So you know what I did? I was like, okay, maybe if I had energy, like I could get things going. So I just like ate so much Nutella right out of the jar, just with a spoon, just like, so I am hopped up on sugar. So I'm gonna take advantage of the sugar high and just review some books before I crash. Let's go. First category is fantasy, and I read 2 of them. Let's just get this out of the way for a hot second. I read Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I finally did it. It finally happened. However, I have already had a live show about this book, and it was a full conversation and review. I'll link it in here. It'll be up there in the description down below. And it was on Leanna from Leanna's Library channel, because this was the Blazing Body Strippers Book of the Month. And a quick summary of my review is that I fully understand why this is an iconic fantasy book. I think it's definitely very well written. The magic system is great. This has a lot of cool stuff. But ultimately, this comes down to a question of character motivation. And me being a theater nerd, well, theater theory nerd, that's what I have a degree in. I know that makes no sense, but it's basically if like psychology and an English major made a baby, and that was my major. So all I did was like analyze character motivation for like 4 years. And the thing is, the protagonist of the story starts the book one way and ends the book the exact same way. The character does not grow or learn or change. So what was this story arc? Like, cool stuff happened, and there are really poignant moments and moments that'll like tear at your heartstrings and moments that'll make you laugh, but ultimately nothing was accomplished. So I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep it real here. Was it successful? Arguably no, but was it cool? Definitely. So I gave it 4 stars. I felt like I can't give it 5, but I can't give it 3. 4 felt like a happy medium. Objectively, it's a great book. Subjectively, it's questionable. I also read Heart on Fire by Amanda Boucher. This is the final book of the Kingmaker series. Wait, okay, I didn't realize this till right now, but Name of the Wind is the King Killer series, and this is the Kingmaker series. So like, my fantasy books were related and I didn't know. Regardless of that though, this is the big finale. Here's the deal, like I love this series because it was fun. It's like a fantasy romance. There's peril, there's the Greek gods, dragons. They fought a dragon, yo. Like there was crazy stuff going on. And then like a lot of like smexy times. So like things were happening that I was really enjoying. It is a fun romp. And then you get to book 3. And don't get me wrong, it's not bad. It's a lot more of the same that we got in the other books, but the thing is, this time it was just only that. There wasn't any real new things going on. It was just kind of very repetitive, and I can only listen to them declare their undying love for each other so many times before I'm just like, oh my gosh, shut up. So much of the story was them just being desperately in love, and I'm like, we get it, move on. There's other things happening. So repetitiveness was an issue here. Also, the ending, it could have been very satisfying if it was plotted out in advance. Without spoilers as much as possible, there is a bad guy. That's not unusual, and this bad guy has like redemption at the very end, and I've seen that before in books, and that's fine, you know? I'll get behind it, why not? Have redemption. And it would have worked if this character had shown signs of being redeemable throughout the series, but this character hadn't at all. Like, this character is super murdery. Like, right before the redemption scene, this character, like, just did some really stupid, evil shit. And then, like, the finale, oh, I'm good now. And it's like, 10 minutes ago, you were torturing people. What? The big flipperoo of the redemption thing, it just felt so out of place. It was like, what is going on? There was no groundwork for that. If there was, I missed it. It's just like, this character has been nothing but like homicidal for 3 books, and then all of a sudden I'm good now, and it's like, why? So yeah, there's just things that didn't work in this book, but it still did have fun action adventures in peril and sexy times. So it had a lot of the things I enjoyed of the other books. I just didn't feel like this one was the A game, if you know what I mean. So I still gave it 3 stars. I had fun with it, but it's not as good as the first 2 books. The next category is sci-fi, and I read 3 of them. I read All Systems Red by Martha Wells, and I was so excited to read this. This is the first book of the Murderbot series, and I mean, frankly, if you just told me this series was called Murderbot, I would be like, yes, I want to read that. And then I finally read it, and it was so good. It's so good. The story is about a character called Murderbot. This is like a android slash robot protection robot thing. I don't really have words for it. So it's a very non-human character. However, as a human, I felt like I related to Murderbot like so much at times. For example, here is like my favorite relatable moment. It's not really spoiling any of the plot points. Murderbot is constantly around human beings because it is a protection droid. So it's constantly around people, but it doesn't really particularly like people. But like the people on this trip that the Murderbot is on are kind of nice, and they're like, hey, you know, Murderbot, if you want to come hang out with us, you're welcome to. And then the sheer terror on Murderbot's face, just like, oh god, I have to hang out with people? What? You know what? Same. That is a mood, and I recognize it, and I accept it. I feel like Murderbot is the perfect epitome of our antisocial selves. So I related to this non-human character hardcore. Very funny and clever and action-packed, and it was a really good book. It was it's short, it's a novella, so I mean you can knock it out in an afternoon probably. It's very short, and it was fun. I definitely want to see more Adventures of Murderbot. I like the snark and the humor and the action. It's just fun. It's a fun little book. I also read Memento by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is also a very short novella. However, I read the other novella, so I figured if I read 2 novellas, kind of like reading a regular-sized book. Whatever, I read it. This was just like a little treat book I read one day because I was just wanted to. And this is like supplemental material to the Illuminae file series, which I adore, honestly. It is freaking fantastic. This is kind of a bit of a prequel and kind of carries over into book 1. It's like a parallel story. And it is about Aiden, who is the homicidal AI. and Aiden is in all the books and is very a complex character, considering Aiden, you know, is a computer program. So I don't know, it's very fascinating. And I love this whole series and all the books. And they're all told dossier style, and there's a lot of art in it. Like the pages are very unique, and the format is really cool. I recommend definitely picking up the audiobook for this series. Memento just had an audiobook come out too, so that was another contributing factor in me wanting to read it finally. Like, the books are so visual and have so many cool elements and art in them, and then you listen along with the audiobook, which has a full cast and sound effects and everything, and it's super immersive. It's really cool. Highly recommend doing that. But yeah, 5 stars. I just really like this book. I love this series, so obviously I was gonna like this. It was just like a treat. I just got to hang out with like Aiden a little bit before Aiden went crazy, so it was fun. I just had a good time with it. Last up, I read The Brightest Night by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the spin-off of the Lux series, and this is the 3rd book of the spin-off, so I am 8 books into this teen alien adventure series, and I love it. Seriously, this is the angsty teen alien drama of my dreams. I just love it. It's intensely readable, It's pulpy, it's campy, it's like silly and like overly snarky at times, but it's just like a style that if you like, you will get into. This book picks up right where the last book ended, and we're following Evie and Luke. Luke is a, you know, I'm not going to describe 7 other books of lore in this series, but Luke is kind of like an alien being, and Evie was experimented on by the government, and so she has like powers too, and they're in love. And of course the government, you know, experimenting on people, not good folks, and they're trying to do stuff to like people and blame the aliens for it. Mind you, people know aliens exist. There was a big war between aliens and people like 4 years before the start of the spin-off series. The world is a different place. But yeah, it's about Luke and Evie trying to figure out where they fit in the world, and their romance and how much they love each other. There is a lot of undying love declarations in this book too, that it got like tedious at times. It's like, we get it. If every other page you're just like, I'm desperately in love with you, and it's like, I get it, the stakes are high, but like, chill, like, we understand. And I thought this spin-off series was gonna be a trilogy, and then I got to the end of this and I'm like, oh shit, it's not a trilogy, because this has a cliffhanger ending, and not like an open-ended cliffhanger where you're like, okay, it's complete, but it's like questionable. I'm like, no, there's gonna be another book. Like, she can't leave it like that. There's too big of a switcheroo cliffhanger here. There's gonna be another one. There had better be, or I will riot in the streets. Oh, I have so much sugar in my body. I definitely recommend getting into some of her pulpy teen paranormal series. They are good fun, funny, and drama-ridden, and just fun to deal with. And this one, it's like overly snarky and overly lovey-dovey, but like I still had fun with it. Like, it still has like big reveals and like a big twist, and you're just like, what? And so yeah, I just like it. Okay, there you go. I don't care if it's technically not very good. Like, I still love it. So I think I give it like 3.5 stars. It's not the best book of the series, but like, I just like the series in general. Alright, so that was my end of November. I kind of took it easy. I wasn't trying to like push myself too hard with books. I technically read 5 books, but 2 of them were novellas, so if I stick it together, it counts as like 1. So like 4 books? I don't know. I read some amount of books, and I had a good time. None of the books I read were bad. I think my biggest complaint were they were repetitive. I think that was where I sat with all these books. But I'm gonna stop talking because, you know what? I ate a lot of Nutella, and I love Nutella, but the thing is, I am really allergic to tree nuts, and like, I feel like my tongue is swelling. I did this to myself. I don't need an EpiPen. I'm not gonna be in danger, but like, I'm just allergic to tree nuts, and I keep eating Nutella, and then my tongue swells, and then I can't talk very clearly. Let me know in the comments down below, what have you been reading lately? If you're reading something cool. Do you have any books that you just love, even though they're questionably good? Like, you know it's a bad book, but you love it. Like, what are you trash for? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I will see you guys soon.